What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Messy in the Garage. But yeah, we're not cleaning the garage today. We're going to do the first upgrade, if you will, on the Tundra. And no, I'm not talking about replacing the windshield for a second time to get rid of what is now, I don't know, 2.5 foot long crack. No, we are going to do something to hopefully alleviate me from an annoyance, and that is wires. I hate wires. Look, I'm Gen X. I don't even know what generation I'm in anymore. I'm not old. I'm Gen X. And as Gen X, we were there during the transition from tape decks to CD players, from CD players to MP3 players. And if you were poor and you couldn't afford a CD player, one of the things you could do was get a tape cassette that you'd put in your tape player that had a wire that went to a stereo cable that allowed you to plug your Discman in. That's right, your Discman. That's a portable CD player. And of course, every bump you hit it would skip. But then you'd have to have a power cable too, because the batteries would wear out. And so you'd end up having all these wires all over your car. We did it for years and it drove me nuts. And so nowadays when I have a charger cable plugged into my cell phone, I get flashbacks of all those wired laden car cabs, and it drives me absolutely nuts. So I wanted a wireless battery charger for my Tundra. I know they make them. And so for years I have been wanting a wireless phone charger for my Tundra. You say, well, Don, what's the big deal? They make them. They're on eBay. Yes, I know, they're on eBay. But when I started looking for them like a year ago, 2 years ago maybe, no, it's about a year ago, those were about $200. Gotta ask yourself, is $200 worth not having the annoyance and the flashbacks of your childhood, your teenage years, and your young adult years with having all the wires sprung through the cab of your car? And the short answer is no. No, it wasn't. Absolutely not. However, a year and a half later, searching through eBay, and I start seeing the same device, but I'm seeing multiple different price points on them. And I came across one that was $45. And I say, Don, why would you buy a $45 version of a $200 product? Well, because I started looking at all the photos, all the install kits, all the descriptions. I started noticing they all look very, very similar. And each kit actually had the exact same thing, exact same color. And I know damn well that you don't have 30 different manufacturers making these things. You probably have one who's selling the different vendors who had different margins. And so I bought one. I bought the cheapest one. And here it is. So let's do a little unboxing real quick. And so what we are going to do is see if a $40 wireless charging station for the Tundra is worth it. And you're saying, wow, Don, that's big. Well, absolutely, because this actually replaces the OEM slot on the console of the Tundra. And so here it is in all of its glory. Here's some parts. So basically here's a power button, which feels super hinky. That may be a problem. I might just turn it on and leave it on. That feels super cheap. And how this thing is supposed to install is we're supposed to be able to feed the power off the rear auxiliary port. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. In the Tundra, you have this cute little tray. And essentially, this guy goes in there like that, which requires you to take this guy off, completely disassemble it, install this in its place, and then it's going to get power off that rear power jack. Now, one of the things I'm thinking I might want to do before I go through the trouble of completely disassembling my console is to hook this thing up to like a drill battery and just verify that it works and that it's charging and that it gets a quality charge and not like a super slow charge, because it won't be worth it to install it in my car. So let me figure out how many slide connections I can use, or even a male connection, to temporarily make up a wire to plug into a drill battery, put some power on that thing, and see if it'll charge my phone. Hopefully you can hear me all right. It's Florida, it's 90 degrees outside, so we're in the cab of the truck. It is running and the AC is on. So I was trying to build a tool, if you will, to run this power system off of a drill battery temporarily to see if it works. And as I'm digging through my messy toolbox, I said to myself, why am I trying to create something that already exists? A lot of people do this. They try to get smarter than themselves. I'm like, I have to take apart my console to put this thing in, and there's already a power source in there. So what I've done is I took my body panel tool and I just put it in there don't use metal. If you're wanting to do this, you're going to order this part on eBay. You got to wait 2 weeks. Go to your local auto parts store. They sell a kit that comes with vinyl body panel removals. These are meant to remove door panels, etc. So anyhow, I went ahead and popped, and this part has to come off regardless. And so we're going to take all these screws out, take this spring-loaded back plate off, which removes that. But here's what I'm wanting to do. In here, okay, I got to be very careful because there's wires down there. But in here we have the power plug for that adapter. On here, you have essentially what is a power splitter that takes that power source so that you can jump it into here and then feed it back into the system like it was. So what I'm going to do temporarily is take this guy, and I'm hoping we can see it. Okay, let's see if I can get my power button unstuck. Fun fact, I think this is probably the longest I have ever sat in the back of my truck, because well, I'm a driver, not a sitter in the back. So anyhow, now we have our plug, and we're going to plug her in. Okay, it fits. Hit the power button. Hit the power button. Hit the power. Hit. Power button sticks, so that sucks. Okay. Let's see if I can get my power button unstuck. Okay. So the power button on this thing is complete trash. That goes without saying. So I'm going to suggest I turn it on, fix the button, and leave it turned on. So first and foremost, the button mechanism on this thing is complete trash, and it sticks. So I took the back plate off, and this is very similar to what you'll see in laptops as far as parts construction go. It's just a simple button. So I have reseated it. I'm going to reapply this guy, and hopefully this time it maintains its structural integrity, and I will just leave it powered on. Okay, for all intents and purposes, the power button is allegedly fixed. It still sucks. I'm still going to leave it turned on. Plug this guy back in. Got the red light flashing, green light. So I'm just going to not touch the power button. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and continue with this. And so next step is now to get the drill, remove all these screws, and remove the top section of this so that I can take it off, flip it over, remove that, and install this. So let's get started. I'm back. Now I do strongly recommend that you use a cordless drill on this. I would not try to take this dash apart. So yeah, don't try to use a manual screwdriver. You probably get the job done, but more than likely, well, that was dumb. You'll strip out your screw and do yourself a favor, try not to drop your screws down the hole to nowhere. think that there's that much give in this seat lid, it wouldn't require that much spring action, but it actually does. Now, I know this is an episode of In the Garage, but we're taking it in the house for two reasons. One, this is leather, and two, the birds want to participate. So you're going to listen to the birds. This is leather, and I don't want to put it on my roof. Now, I know this is an episode of In the Garage, but we're taking it in the house for two reasons. One, this is leather, and two, the birds want to participate. So you're going to listen to the birds. This is leather, and I don't want to put it on my roof. There you go. Don't want to put it on my rough bench outside. And more importantly, it's air conditioning in here. So what we have to do now is remove all of these screws. And unlike my suggestion before with using a drill, we're just going to use a standard number 1 screwdriver. So let's get started. This is very reminiscent. Of taking apart a laptop, which I have done tons of. So for me, this shouldn't be a big deal. I will say, in this case, it shouldn't matter. Sorry for the rocking camera, but you know, no one's, oh, real quick. Gotta take the latch off first. This latch mechanism is a whole different mechanism, so I gotta take that off first. What you looking at, Bebop? Who's outside? Maybe 20 screws. Hold this leather onto this bottom. Pop this guy off. Now we reveal what we're looking for. More screws. Now we are back to the bigger screws, so I am going to go get the screw gun so we can go whoop, 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 whoop. I'll be back. It's like this was designed for this. Take away this dirty piece. And we have this big gaping hole. Now would be the time to clean the edge of your leather if you discover that you got scuba and debris in there. Now the other thing you may want to do, see if you can pop off the Limited logo. So let's see if we can get that off. Drop it off, flew across the house. So there it is, our Limited logo. It's on there, we're good to go. Now we're just going to set him back in here and put all the appropriate screws back in. Hold tight. Okay, so now we got our system back together. And now we have this wire. And this wire is actually going to feed through the gaps in there, come out on the other side, and you do it in a manner so it doesn't get pinched, cut by that. Now this tip did come with this handy dandy elbow cover. It's going to go in here like that, keep that wire secure in that channel, so that's good. So what we're going to do is take him, drop him in here like so, and then down like so. Just in there, which it will not get pinched. Okay, so he's in there, he's not getting pinched yet. Just take this guy off. Put our wire stay where you're at cool guy shield on. Now they do have a section there that bends, so we're going to get him in there as clean as we can. Put this guy on there. Put it in there just like so. Take our screw, put him in back here like so. So I don't know if you can see it now, but now we have our wire running into here. It's in that cover, and now it's pretty much secure. Pull a little bit back. Okey-doke, so we have it reassembled. Clear all our parts and pieces outside. Now it's time to put this guy back together. First things first, we're going to use that center screw to make sure this thing is lined up and centered, which I'm sure is the whole reason for that one screw. And we are going to, sorry camera, tape this crap together. So that's recessed in there. Now we're going to plug in this guy. And now we have flashing blinking lights. So we're going to take our camera, our battery, our phone, what you will. Lock it. We're gonna put it on there, and she is charging. It's hard to see with. There you go. And so now all we gotta do is zip tie this guy in here in a way that he's not in the way, using the supplied zip ties. Console back together. Okay, so the 2K GoPro took a shit, so we're on 1080p. God bless my lawn care guy. I love him. The lawn care guy's busy in the hot. Power gets covered. Weed eater grass, which then dries on your brand new paint. This is where you just had your truck repainted from hurricane damage. And so now we're going to test out our new wireless system, as well as drive my truck wireless system, my new wireless charging system, as well as take my truck to go get it washed. So my phone is at 69%. Here'd be another interesting little game, and that is how well my phone will maintain a charge while on Bluetooth listening to the radio. Oh, I gotta go shut the garage door. I'll be right back because, well, that's on next episode of In the Garage when I fix my garage door opener. GoPro problems. Okay, so the phone charger indicator says 69% full, an hour and 24 minutes till fully charged. Obviously, we're not gonna roll around for an hour and 24 minutes, but it'll be interesting to see by the time I get back from washing my car and all that stuff, get back to the house with my engine running, my charger charging, if it still says an hour 24 minutes, or if it'll actually charge faster than the battery usage. I'm hoping that I don't see that it doesn't charge faster than what Bluetooth and Pandora uses my battery on. So hopefully this thing will charge faster than the amount of battery power being depleted due to normal usage. So let's find out. I was just thinking about the power button as I was driving. Now, obviously I don't have any, but I guess maybe if you're a watchmaker, something with super small springs, or you think about it ahead of time, but you really wouldn't know because you need to know the diameter of the plunger inside that button. But this would be a good question too. If you have one of these and you have the $200 model, is your button spring loaded? Is that like what the extra $150 for was, for a spring and that button? Because that's why the button sticks. It's not spring loaded. It's literally just plastic button with plastic arms making temporary contact with the power button, and it has nothing to redirect it back up into the flange, if you will. So I wonder if you have the $200 one, is your power button spring loaded?
Yeah, you have to pay that out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
Nah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Charles, I was carrying nugget.
Yeah, you talking about the grass clippings and all that crap? Yeah, if you could. So we're back home. The engine one, I did not keep my engine running while at the car wash, just because it's a waste of gas. I do have a V8. So we drove down there, washed the car, drove back. Did talk to my brother in real time. Was listening to Pandora in real time, and then Carrie texted me, and she's babysitting. And we're back. And so with all that activity going on, we are at 72% with a finish time of 1 hour and 16 minutes. I will say, I had to point this out, we have to be honest, I do get a notification from my Samsung Galaxy S21 that fast wireless charging is unavailable. But with that being said, I get the same thing from my wireless charging station at my office and in my bedroom because I can't bring myself to drop a lot of money on wireless charging stations, so I get the cheap ones. So with cheap charging stations, you get slow charging, but my goal of charging my phone faster than the amount of energy it uses during normal use was successful. All I gotta do now is get some Goo Gone, wipe that SCUBA away from where they had their stupid caution sticker and all the warnings for California and how this thing probably charges and gives brain cancer, but good thing I live in Florida. So other than that, we're all good.
This has been a Digital 410 production.